This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
The aftermath of Agnes. Find out how the Wyoming Valley rebuilt after the terrible flood 50 years ago. We have the second part of our interview with a journalist who was there next. Hello and happy Friday, friends. I'm Ken Karen. Thank you for being with us. Here's your local information. On Thursday, retired journalist David DeCosmo talked with our Lisa Sugart about covering the Agnes flood in the Wyoming Valley 50 years ago. Today, he looks back at what it was like when the waters receded and the area began to clean up. If you missed part one of the interview, you can watch it on our website or YouTube channel. Now here's Lisa Sugart with today's news feature.
What was it like, Dave? You were working in broadcasting and watching it afterwards, the cleanup and being rebuilt.
Even as it happened, I saw the North Street Bridge, the bridge closest to the courthouse. I happened to be outside when it broke apart. Interestingly, you couldn't really hear it. The water was so loud, but I could see it smash. There was some sound. Then those of us in the news media were allowed back in well before any citizens were allowed back in. And we were told by General Townend, again, the head of civil defense, please paint a word picture as to what these people are going to face when they come back in, because we wanted them psychologically ready for what they were going to find, which of course was tremendous devastation, everything from mud in the basement and on the first floor to homes literally ripped off of their foundations. Agnes caused just over $2 billion damage from Florida through New York State. One half of that, $1 billion, was in Luzerne County, and that equated in today's dollars would be $14 billion. It was a mess, it was a wreck, it was a horrible stench from the mud, the dust, and yet most people came back.
That's the amazing part, that so many did come back, and it truly is the Valley with a heart.
Yep, and that's because we had so much help. We had two tremendous leaders, Congressman Dan Flood at the time, Frank Carlucci, a Wyoming Valley native, personal representative to President Nixon. Anything had to be done in a federal level, Carlucci had Nixon's ear. And from a news media point of view, Carlucci's door was always open to us. We could go in and ask whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. If you could answer it, he would. If he couldn't, he'd get the answer for us. So there was a constant flow of information from the people involved in all of the disaster to the people who were the victims of that disaster. That flow of information was crucial in keeping people safe, in keeping people reassured, in keeping them calm. And that's the thing I worry about in the future. Can it happen again? Absolutely. In fact, I will tell you it probably will happen again. Not a carbon copy. The valley itself may not be hit because the levee system has been raised. But when you raise the levees here, the water goes out somewhere else. So, and Mother Nature doesn't know what a 100-year flood is. If Mother Nature wants to send that flood tomorrow, it's coming.
That's so true. And back then, too, we have to remember there was no flood insurance.
Some people kind of wondered why those of us at Civil Defense saw the major fire on Northampton Street, buildings burning with waters all around them. And we said, those folks are lucky. Why? They had fire insurance, but no one had flood insurance. And of course, now it's mandated if you're in what is determined to be a floodplain area. And those areas change because between raising the levees and global warming, whatever you want to argue about that is causing global warming, it's happening. And that changes where flood areas are designated. So you may be living somewhere now and think I'm perfectly safe. And next month, you're going to find out they're changing the lines and you've got to have that flood insurance. Of course, people here were, they had low interest loans to help them come back in. HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, provided mobile homes for many, many people, and they lived in them, many for quite some time. So there was plenty of help. And that's, again, thanks to people like Dan Flood, our congressman. He was head of military appropriations. The first thing they needed was helicopters. Well, he provided funding for the military. So when he wanted helicopters, we got them. And again, Frank Carlucci having that personal ear of the president. And then President Nixon was here to visit the area. Bob Hope came in to raise money for the Red Cross, which helped so many people. We had workers from the Amish country coming up to help people rebuild. Neighbors helped one another. One neighbor would get through shoveling out his mud, and he'd go next door. Tremendous cooperation. I would say that flood could have killed this area forever, but it didn't. Wilkes-Barre's downtown, completely wiped out, was completely rebuilt. So we had a lot of help, a lot of people willing to pitch in, a determined attitude, and not that there weren't problems. The problems continued. Some people had to deal with trying to get help a little longer than others because so many people were affected by it in one way or another. You know, in the community of Kingston, there were 20 homes that were not affected by that flood.
I could talk to you for hours about this. You're a wealth of information, and I always respected you as a reporter. You always did a phenomenal job, and it's great to hear you talking about what happened back then. Thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to share what you remember of Agnes with us.
Thank you for remembering. It's worth remembering.
Today's news feature is brought to you by The Cheese Store and more. Go to their Facebook page to see their specials and check out their catering menu.
There's a locally produced documentary on Agnes that was just released this week, and you can watch it next week in Wilkes-Barre. Tickets are $10 for the shows on Wednesday, June 29th at 1 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Tickets can be purchased by calling the FM Kirby Center box office at 570-826-1100.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
Here's our forecast from the National Weather Service on Saturday. Patchy fog before 7 a.m., otherwise sunny with a high near 84 degrees. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 61 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 84 degrees. Sunday night, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, then showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm after 2 a.m. It'll be mostly cloudy with a low around 63 degrees. We have a 70% chance of precipitation. On Monday, showers likely, mainly before 2 p.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 74 degrees. We have a 60% chance of precipitation. On Monday night, a 30% chance of showers before 8 p.m., mostly clear with a low around 50 degrees. Tuesday is sunny with a high near 72 degrees, and Tuesday night clear with a low around 52 degrees. Coming up after this break, where kids in the Hazleton Area School District can get a free breakfast and lunch in our area this summer. Plus, it was the first season for a brand new team in the Hazleton Area School District. The Unified Track and Field team brought together student athletes with and without special needs. We have the story on how they changed each other's lives while pushing each other to do and be their best.
Marian Catholic will be running a number of sports camps from June 29th through August 10th. For more information, you can visit mariancatholichs.org. Party on the Patio at Mohegan Sun Pocono will run every Thursday from June 2nd through September 1st. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and music begins at 7:30 p.m. And that's today's Talk of the Town. SSPTV News would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Georgie O'Razy of Hazleton services were previously held under the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. And Gertrude Siegfried, age 103 of Hazleton, a graveside service will be held on Saturday at 11 a.m. at Mount Laurel Memorial Park. The Crothy News Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements.
Tonight's obituaries are being brought to you in part by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory, with 2 locations in Rockland and in Drums, 570-384-3312 or 570-788-0977, and go to harmonfuneral.com.